Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And so excited to be back. I was having a preemptive sip of chai to get ready for this. Super excited. What happened to the artworks behind me? I'll have to figure out why they're not showing anymore. Anyway, it's great. What did you do for New Year's?
Just hung out with some friends at home, and I don't know. I'm not a big goer outer anymore. I lived that life in my 20s. When I used to DJ and all that stuff, I was wild and crazy. But now I'm a hermit crab and I just work in startups.
I think that's pretty much the same transition for everybody. Yeah. So my daughter, who's home from college, got COVID, and so it put a little cramp on our New Year's celebration and all that. But on the plus side, she's at home, and we hang out and watch TV and all that kind of stuff.
You just have to make her stay home. You're like, you have COVID, you can't go out.
Yeah. Well, I'm so excited. We are in the new year, and this is the year of Vitruveo.
It is.
Everything that we've been setting the groundwork for the past 5 months is now coming to fruition, and it's time for action. Not that we haven't had action, but it's time to actually take this blockchain to the next level, start building out more projects on it, get more users, get the cryptocurrencies out in the market. So there's so many exciting things that we have to get going on, and I'm excited. We are ready.
It's only been 4 or 5 months since I've been here, and it feels much longer. But
it's July 20th is when I first sort of presented to the community, and kind of August is when we started working on it. So it seems like an eternity, but it's actually been a very short amount of time, and we've done a lot. So
that we've done things at, and just because maybe the viewer at home hasn't seen the pace firsthand doesn't mean that 5 days out of the week we're meeting and we're talking for over an hour about strategy and how we're going to do stuff. And it takes a sturdy base to grow and scale properly. And it's been a lot. It's been good. It's finally a position where I actually have a pace that I like to work at, which is fast. I'm a fast-paced person, so it's been fun, and I'm very fortunate to be here, and very fortunate that we're in a good position to do really well in 2024.
Absolutely. And I always say, I wish there were more than 30 hours in a day, but that 30 hours is what we have, and so that's what we'll work with, and just kick ass. So we're going to turn up the heat now. It is January, and so
it is 30. It's 28 degrees here. Yes, it is cold.
Yeah.
For you,
Matt Veterans has loved the hat. Thank you. It is my salute to all the veterans and service members out there. That's something Chris Cruz and the other YouTubers taught me, and I try and remember that without fail every time I present, to wear something red on Fridays. So thank you for your service.
It's more red than it is, but it's more of a purple. I kind of failed today.
Thank you for your service, Zach. So yeah. All right. Let's see. What do we want to do with this? Do we want to? I think we do it the same way. But it is now season 2.
Season 2.
We have transitioned from season 1 to season 2. Chris says thank you. Thank you, Chris. You know what? I was just thinking, Chris, as I was getting ready for this, I got the red hat on, and I really missed some of our YouTube sessions. So I wish we could do another regular one with the YouTubers, etc., beyond the DAOnload. If we can do that, that would be much. I would love that, because it's kind of this one is sort of slightly formal, but just chatting, etc., and being a little informal is something fun. I'd love to do that. All right, let's go with season 2. Let's get my screen up here and just get going. So much information, but I'll tell you this, guys. We are working at breakneck speed in order to achieve some deadlines. So I've kind of, like last week, I've compressed a lot of information into a few slides. I didn't have the time to work on glorious slides, so forgive me that. But also the other thing is, we are now speaking not just to the sort of crypto community. We're also speaking to the artist community. So I want to balance these downloads and make sure that we have information that's pertinent to both segments. So we'll start with that today. I've done a little bit of that previously, but we'll go really in depth into that today. So let's get going. Happy New Year. Let's kick ass. Let's get my screen on here.
As always, if you have questions, I'll flag them as we go. We'll try to answer them as we go, and at the end, we'll have our Q&A session. So don't throw them in the chat. I'll make sure that we get in front of Nik. So I will bid you adieu.
All right, let's rock and roll here. So we will start off with first me getting my cursor in the right place. And there we go. All right. So I have prepared a timeline for what is happening for the next sort of 30 to 45 days. And we will add more color to this as we move forward. Right now, we've adjusted the dates a little tiny bit based upon some of the feedback we got and things on the ground here. But basically here, January 9th, that's Tuesday, you will have Swapper 2.0. What will you be able to do there? The main function, in addition to being able to swap your accounts, etc., and having the ability for validators to split off their validator to a different wallet from their tokens, is you will be able to specify with a slider your VTRU and VTRO swap percentage. So you can choose anything from 0% to 100%. It's entirely up to you. When you're done with that, you hit a button, and in about 2 to 5 seconds, you will receive VTRO tokens in your wallet, and you will receive what's called a core NFT in your wallet. The reason I'm calling it a core NFT is because we used to call it Nexus. There's actually a family of NFTs, which I'm going to talk about shortly. It's not just one. And so I want to make sure that we have a generic term to catch all of them. Now, the VTRO token is what's going first. And if any of you are keeping an eye on a testnet, etc., you might have seen that the VTRO contract got deployed today. So we're testing that out, making sure everything's good about it, because it is ready to go to an exchange. So they need it now. They need it now in order to be able to get it listed toward the end of the month, which I'll talk about shortly. The other contract that will probably drop on testnet today, latest by tomorrow, is the wrapped VTRU contract. So the wrapped VTRU is a token which will wrap the VTRU cryptocurrency, which is a coin. Why do we need that? Well, it's because no exchange can handle rebasing. They have no idea what to do with it. And so it's very complicated for them to do that, but it's a very simple thing for them to have a token. So the way it will work is you will essentially be able to go to an app. You will be able to use that app to swap, to essentially wrap your VTRU tokens for wrapped VTRU, and boom, that's what is something that will be available for you on the exchange. All right, so the fire icon I put there is because we have decided to put all the functionality that you need in order to work with all these various things, etc., both now and in the future, under one app. It's an app that gives you visibility into your entire Vitruveo ecosystem, your entire presence there, and it's called VTRU Scope. So VTRU Scope is what you will see on January 9th. And here is your workflow. You will go into Swapper. You will, do any swapping you need to do. You will adjust that slider that we have there that allows you to choose between VTRU and VTRO. Make it whatever you want. You hit the button, and then you are done. You are locked out of Swapper at that point. You cannot make any changes to any account in Swapper. You then go to the Vitruscope account, and there you will find your Nexus NFT or your validator NFT, as the case may be, waiting for you, and you will be able to claim your VTRU tokens. And there we go. That begins sort of the process where you will, for the first time, see your coins in MetaMask or Trust or whatever wallet you have. You will see your VTRO tokens also in there, and they are freely tradable. You can do whatever you want to with them, transfer them, etc. I hope that with those coins available, now people will start experimenting with the blockchain. So you can, if you're a developer, you can deploy a smart contract. If you have an existing app, maybe you already have one developed, you can deploy it here and have people start using it, because now they have Vitru to interact with it. So all of that is happening on Jan 9th. We will keep Swapper 2.0 open until Jan 16th, just a few more days beyond what we had said we would, because we got a number of community requests for keeping it on a little bit longer. So we're tacking on 4 days there. So Jan 16th, Swapper 2.0 goes away. What happens then? Anyone who has not made a choice of their Vitruveo swap gets a 50-50 split. It's an even split. And what we do is we start airdropping both your VTRO tokens and your core NFTs into your accounts at that point. It might take us a couple days to do all of them. There's quite a few. So we just want to make sure that they're all valid, all good, and we'll drop them into the account. So through, and we'll continue doing that. It shouldn't take too many days, but I've put, a couple of weeks on the bar there. So it's this bar here. I'll put a couple of weeks. All right. So then what are we working on? Well, from the period of Jan 23rd to maybe the first week of Feb, our priority is to get our VTRO CEX listing activated. I wanted to give ourselves a window of time to do that, because it is a third party. It's an exchange, right? I cannot guarantee what dates they can commit to, etc. But we are focused on two things. One is the technical capabilities, so making sure the VTRO token contract, etc., is ready. And of course, the more important thing is the liquidity for it. So we are very, very, very confident that we will have that available. And we are right now working on getting that listing activated. So once that happens, because you will have your VTRO tokens in your wallet, you can choose to go on the centralized exchange and trade them if you wish. Or what is better is if you would hold them, because very soon we will have the DEX. You will be able to stake those tokens, and you will start becoming eligible for income from the DEX. All right. So then, and just to be clear, the VTRO airdrop that happens in this period here, the airdrop, that includes everyone to date. So not just the people who are swapping. So there were the original UXI sort of investors. You're going to get your tokens there also. The swap, everyone who swapped, you're going to get your tokens. Liquidity investors, they're going to get their tokens, etc. So all of those are going to be handled via airdrop in that period of time. So, okay. The next thing then we'll be focusing on is the wrapped VTRU centralized exchange listing. Now, that's the one I know everyone wants and everyone is anxious for. But I also want you to know that, as always, I've always consistently said this, the trigger for that is the capital being available for liquidity and operating capital, right? So we could do it sooner, we could do it later. It really depends on when we hit those numbers. That's the main thing. And from everything I've seen right now, from our talks with the investors we started conversations with, things are heating up. Things are going exactly according to plan. So I told you that the basic mechanism, the pathway we will take for this is that we will start pitching to investors. We will have meetings with them. We will get traction on the business side of things, which I'll talk about momentarily, and create this a narrative that really helps investors see the big vision we have here. And they're seeing it now. They're seeing it's very, very tangible. And some of the activity that we had kind of put the brakes on because of the holidays, nothing happens post Thanksgiving and kind of during the holidays here. So we were slow a little bit there. We didn't want to expend a lot of capital and not get the returns we want. But now that that's done, you've already seen this week, and I'll talk about some of the things that we are doing. You're going to see tremendous more marketing, and you're going to see a lot of activity. So all of this is coming to a head. Now we're talking about a matter of days, weeks, even. So there's a lot of moving parts, but we have a plan, we have a mission, we have a vision, and we've got great people working on this. So um, just know that January is going to be a pivotal month for us. I'm super, super excited about it. Okay, last but not the least, let's talk about the business, right? Like the coins and all that are great, but without a business that drives revenue, that drives scale, all those coins are not important. So in order for the business to grow, and to make those coins valuable, we have to focus on our core mission, which is around the creator community. So we have had a team in Brazil working crazy hours to crank out VTRU Studio. So we are calling the first release of it Alpha because we have constrained the feature set of it. That Alpha is for onboarding the approximately 1,000 Genesis artists that applied for and got selected. So during starting as early as next week, depending on which day we are able to get all the feature set complete, we will start onboarding these artists in cohorts. So we'll start small, like 5 or 10 of them, get their initial feedback, whatever problems or anything that exists, we'll fix them. And it's an iterative process from there. We will add more and more. Our goal is that, as soon as possible, like if things are going really well, if we don't have to fix things, then yeah, we'll onboard more at a time. But we are projecting somewhere around early Feb that we'll be done with that. And then we'll start onboarding sort of the next cohort. But meanwhile, with that initial Genesis artist cohort onboarded, guess what? That's when we will also have the first version of the VTRU store available for you. So the booster holders can go. We'll set a date and set a time. And remember, there's like 5,000 booster holders at this point, and there's only around slightly less than 1,000 artworks. So it's first come, first serve. You get your artwork, your Genesis artwork. That's great. You'll have to go and get it. But if you have a booster, don't worry. Like there will be more artists coming on board, and you will get the chance to grab your artwork. But the first 1,000 are special. They are Genesis artworks, and I think it'll be fun if you can snag one of those. All right. So that's the timeline. Now, I started off by saying, we're calling it core NFTs. I want to explain to you why it's called core NFTs, because there's actually a bunch of them. So let's look at that, right? So we've talked about Nexus a lot, and we've talked about Validator. Those are obvious ones. So Nexus core NFTs are just about for everyone who is currently a retail investor who is in the community. The validators are obviously for the validators. The stewards are basically people who have a role in the DAO. So, a council lead, etc. Though they get the steward NFT because their NFT has tied to it governance rights. Now, all the NFTs have some kind of governance of varying degree, but the steward ones are slightly higher because they are in sort of a lead position. The next one is Dreamer. So we're going to airdrop core NFTs to a bunch of artists, approximately 3,000 of them. So they will have the ability to also vote in the DAO. Then we have the Maximum NFT. So the Maximum and the Nexus go hand in hand. If you have a Nexus NFT and you have a booster, you can boost that Nexus NFT and accelerate your vesting, transfer your tokens, transfer your rev share, etc., from the booster to the Nexus. But what if you don't have a Nexus and you have purchased the booster? What do you do with it? Well, you boost an account and we will automatically airdrop a Maximum NFT on there. It's similar to Nexus, except it has no base tokens, and therefore whatever you boost is all the tokens it's going to get. So the other thing is Nexus has rev share, it has perks, etc. Maximum would only get the perks and rev share that's coming to it via a booster. The next one is a Trooper. So Trooper is mostly team members of the DAO, and people working in the DAO. So they have representation because we want to use these core NFTs to govern and gate access to various features within the DAO, within Discord, etc. So basically, your NFT is going to determine what role you have within Discord and what you're able to do. The next one is Benefactor. So that would represent anyone who is sort of an institutional investor who's coming in. And then last but not the least, the early birds. So we have special early birds who have a who have purchased 7 or more boosters in one single transaction, and they get the early bird NFT. So you can see that getting this Vitruscope app together, getting the NFT thing together, and figuring out how the mechanics work of all of this is a little non-trivial. Let's just say it's not just a quick NFT contract together and boom, you're done. There's a lot of math that has to happen also because of the fact that we got rebasing, right? I'll give you a short example. Like, let's say that you have a Nexus NFT and you have a vesting schedule, right? So every period, a certain number of your coins vest, but those coins, whether they are vested or not, are also rebasing. And remember the commitment. I made this a long time ago, and I want to remind you of it. As your coins vest, the rebases of it are always available to you for claiming. So the rebase, as they happen, if any coins show up in your account, you can claim them anytime. Rebases are not vested. All right, and I hope everyone understands and appreciates that, because it's a very important thing. Right now, you're probably not seeing the full flavor of it because we are not rebasing yet. But honestly, folks, get some of these artists on here, get some stores, get some other dApps going, and 10 to 15,000, whatever it is, 20,000 transactions per day, we're going to blow past those. I'm 100% certain that this community is going to have the activity level that is needed in order for us to rebase regularly. So this is really important to me, to make sure that you understand that rebases are intended for you to have a recurring income stream, a passive income stream. And no matter where you are in this ecosystem, rebases will never, ever be locked or vested or anything like that. They are just available for you to claim and in your wallet. So, all right. Now, I have a slide here where I want to talk a little bit about our ecosystem and about some of the things that are new. Now, one of the things that has, you know what? I need a sip of chai. Yeah. So one of the things that has really, really polarized this sort of whole community is our token allocation, right? So you look at the table and you see the top sort of wallet holding a large amount of tokens. Well, I am very, very, very pleased to reply that thanks to let you know, not reply rather, that thanks to the efforts of a group of 5 investors, the top wallet holder has been bought out in an OTC transaction, and that is done deal, finished. So I'm sure a lot of you are very, very happy to hear that. But I cannot be more thankful to this group of 5 investors. Thank you so much. They prefer to be unnamed, but they've done this community a huge service. So I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you. All right. So other news. Yesterday, we launched a waitlist for artists, and they're starting to sign up. It's been less than 24 hours at this point, so I don't know how many are there. Probably a couple hundred or so. But after the 1,000 that are done, we want to start onboarding artists in cohorts. So we will just take that wait list as a queue and let them in a few at a time. The reason we want to just do it that way versus kind of go all out is because of software, right? You want to make sure your software quality and the user experience is great. We are shooting for that. That requires us to take the feedback we get and implement that and make it work really well. For example, we know that we are serving a global artist community. So what that means is we can't launch VTRU Studio and have it only English centric, right? That doesn't work very well. So right away, out of the box, we are planning on supporting 4 languages. So we'll have English, Farsi or Persian, Spanish, and Portuguese. So we'll have those languages represented, and we'll definitely add more, as time goes. But this is truly a global ecosystem we are building, a truly multilingual community, and we want our software to reflect that. All right, next item of news is we have 21 booster artists, and all their work was represented on Times Square. So that was great. It was very, very gratifying to see the artists on Times Square. Now, the service we worked with does not allow, or did not allow rather, a lot of commercial promotion like a logo, etc. So we weren't able to do that, but we are working with other services now. And so as we do this in the future, you're going to see Vitruveo represented, etc. So more than anything else, it is about the recognition of seeing your art on Times Square with a global audience. I think that's a great feeling for artists. And I assure you, it's not the first time. We're going to do that more. But I also assure you, we are going to do it at scale at a lot of different venues. So get used to Vitruveo artists having their work represented at mainstream venues all over the world. We are going to really, really put your art on the map. All right. The next news item. You might have heard of the fact that there is a standard called 4337. It's called an account abstraction standard. It's been announced for a while, but uptake on it has been slow because it requires a lot of sort of technical innovation, etc. I'm very pleased to report that Vitruveo is going to be one of the blockchains that supports 4337 account abstraction right away. In plain English, what it means is that instead of wallets owning assets, you can have smart contracts that own assets. And so it makes it super simple for you as a user to represent your Web3 activity through one smart contract where it owns all the assets, etc. And it's a really novel and different way of approaching how wallets work. And I'm very pleased that we'll be supporting that. Last, but not the least, I finally got this work done over the holidays, got the white paper published. So that was a labor of love and also a labor, but it's done. And you probably noticed that half the white paper is about stuff you know, and half is about stuff you didn't know about. Well, there's stuff we share on the download here, but there is honestly so much activity going on behind the scene in so many different areas that if I were to go through all of that detail every single time, first of all, you would be very confused. And secondly, you would be here for hours and hours. And I don't think anyone wants that. I did that a few times, and I think people get bored, so we don't do that. But in the white paper, you probably saw two things. One is photo key, and one is ultra contract. So I want to talk about that briefly before we go on. So photo key is our approach at solving the user experience problem that wallets have. So actually, photo key is something that came out of a hackathon. A few years ago, I was obsessed with hackathons. I would just go through hackathons practically every week, and I was obsessed with winning them. So photo key was one of the entries at a hackathon that won. And since then, I built it out. I built out the application, because at hackathons you generally just build some screens, a couple screens. It more or less does not work. But I spent a solid few months just writing the code and built out photo key. And in a few weeks, I'll share it with you. But the key thing about photo key is it solves a big problem that exists in crypto wallets today. It is the issue of private keys, passphrases, mnemonics, however you want to call it. So with photo key, what it is a system that is deterministic. And what it does is it takes two very simple things that everyone has, a photo and 4 or more emojis. You combine that and you have a deterministic system for private key generation. You don't have to remember anything. And it's something that anyone with a mobile phone or a desktop browser can use to authenticate. A child can get into crypto using photo key. So and the single photo key that you create is usable on every blockchain currently in existence and in the future also, because it's using determinism to generate a seed, which is what is used for private keys. So I know that's a lot of crypto jargon there. I'm sorry about that. But if you read the paper, you'll see how it comes into being. But it's something you know and something you have. So something you know is your emojis, and something you have is your photo. You combine them, and you have determinism and the ability to solve one of crypto's biggest problems. So we're gonna integrate that and make it super simple for artists who are visual people anyway, right? To come at scale. And so this is the wallet that will make it sort of a universal sign-in system. So you have sign in with Google, sign in with Twitter, etc. We're going to create a simple button, sign in with PhotoKey, and universally able to have you sign in into any blockchain and have that wallet. So that's PhotoKey. And then the other part you might have seen on there is Ultra Contract. So Ultra Contract is actually forward-looking a little bit. We know that the next phase of this beyond visual artists is music. Now, one of the things that is very common in the music industry is our licensing contracts. They actually have paper contracts with terms, etc., on who's going to do what and who gets paid what and all of that kind of stuff. So Ultra Contract is a new way to create those contracts where we take legalese and make it dynamically incorporated into a smart contract. So we take the legalese and take the terms of it, and when publishing it, auto-generate a smart contract so that you have both. You have the human readable version of the contract in a PDF format, but the signatures on it are actually crypto signatures that are embedded in the PDF and are also on-chain in a smart contract. So that's very, very forward-looking. And we're doing that because one of the things we want to do with music is get labels on here with hundreds of thousands of artists all at once. So we want to make it where the systems they use right now are immediately portable to Web3 at scale. So this is the vision, and Ultra Contract is designed for that vision. So we are looking out 6 months, a year. Also there's a bunch of other things also that are in the pipeline, but those are the two things I felt like you would want to hear about because they are immediately relevant. How are we going to get a bunch of Web2 artists to have a custodial wallet and authenticate into Web3? Well, PhotoKey with a custodial wallet is the solution. How are we going to get them to, how are we going to get people to buy things? Well, with a credit card system. So account abstraction is important for that also. So these things are all pieces of a puzzle, and very gradually you will see how they fit together and make a very beautiful and cohesive picture. All right, moving on then. Sorry, I dwelled on the what's new a little bit. You know what? Maybe I should take a quick stab, Zach, and see if there's any questions related to some of the things we've talked about before going into other things here. Let's see. I see a couple of starred ones here. Will Swapper2.0 also allow us to consolidate our booster NFTs so that our rev share all goes to the same wallet? Well, no, but you don't need to do that because the way the booster NFTs work is by boosting, right? You do not want to consolidate them because what you will do then is lose your artworks. A booster NFT is a voucher. It contains coins, Vitru, it contains certain rev share, and it contains certain perks. What you will do through the VTRU Scope app is we'll have a button there where you have all your boosters. You pick a booster and you say boost. You choose an account to boost, and that account gets all the benefits of the booster, like the coins, the rev share, and the perks transferred to it. And what's left in your account is a beautiful artwork NFT. So you definitely do not want to consolidate your booster NFTs. All you want to do with them is boost, and boom, you're done. Speaking of that, you know what? I know that you probably noticed there's a lot of people buying boosters, and I want to make sure that everyone understands that anyone can buy a booster, but if you're an artist, you don't need to buy a booster, right? It's just there if you want to be a crypto investor. So that's that. All right, let's see. Are there any other questions here? Oh, Nik, can you confirm once again for the community, those members that are under the auto 50% VTRO, those tokens will be auto staked for them to still ROI through DEX rev share? Yeah. So so the staking part is not in the contract right now, but when we develop it, what we will do is have all the accounts that are sort of auto 50%, as you said there, flagged, and so we will auto stake it. Yeah, it makes absolute sense to do that. There's no reason not to. So yeah, the answer is yes, we'll do that. when we sell a booster, do we lose the rev share? When we sell our booster NFTs, do we lose the rev share as well? Okay, so a booster NFT has two states. There is a pre-boost and a post-boost state. So if you transfer or sell your booster NFT to someone else before you boost it, then yeah, it's a voucher, right? It has certain values for coins, for rev share, and for perks. And if you're going to transfer that to someone else, they then get to choose which account to boost. So yeah, you lose everything. If you're doing it post boost, what you are left with is an artwork NFT. It's no longer a booster NFT, it's an artwork NFT with these amazing artists that we have, right? So you will then have applied the rev share, the perks, and the coins to some account, and that account got the benefit of those, and you're left with an artwork, and you can then, I presume those booster artwork NFTs will be worth a lot once we start the marketplace. So if you hold on to them, you can probably sell them for a tidy profit at some point in the future. All right. Nik, when an updated calculator spreadsheet for VTRU and VTRO will be available? All right. So remember my priorities I talked about, get the white paper done, and then focus on the calculator. Well, I have had sort of two things interjected in there, which is get the VTRO and VTRU contracts out there. So I've been working on those, but those will be done by tomorrow. So yes, a calculator is definitely in the works, and I will expedite that. I know our community has been waiting for that, so I apologize for the delay on that, but I've had to make sure that the things that actually have dependencies outside, like exchanges, etc., those things get done. So calculator, we'll work on that as early as starting this weekend. All right, let's continue now with the rest of the download. We've answered some of those questions. So now I want to talk about some of the things we've been doing this week. So we had an amazing Binance Live AMA. I don't know if you caught it, but it was a lot of fun. It was sort of the first time I had a chance to speak to a very large audience. And I was looking at the stream there, and I think there's over 5,000 views on that right now. And so we are really excited. It was a great way to introduce Vitruveo to a whole new audience. And we're going to do more of that. There's a lot more of this coming, and stay tuned. I never get fed up. I never get sick of talking about Vitruveo. So that's good, because this one was, what was it? It was at 6 a.m., I think, or 5 a.m., something like that, my time. So it's hard to get up in the morning and be like all pumped up and energetic, but I do it because I love what I'm doing. I love Vitruveo. All right. Let's go on to booster sales update. All right. So the last time I looked, which is probably changed, it was 828,250 raised for our ongoing operating capital. Just so everyone knows, I'll repeat it again. I repeat it every week. The purpose of the boosters is for us to have ongoing operating capital. Our liquidity capital and our sort of longer term operating capital is coming through institutional investors, and we're working on that. But right now, in order to pay the bills, the boosters are doing that for us. So this was up 18% from 704,000 last week. So whatever we're doing it right. And I can tell you that the Binance AMA contributed significantly to that. The white paper contributed significantly to that. So I know these deliverables are important for a lot of folks in the crypto space. And so we are checking those boxes. We're getting those done, and we'll continue to do so. The numbers on the boosters have changed. So we have 5,187 boosters and 356 early birds. Still a long way from the maximum capacity we had. So even with these numbers, up 18% from last week, there is still lots of benefits for sharing. Let me just take stock of what the current number is. 831,100. All right, so it went up a little bit since I took that snapshot. But yeah, I think I think of boosters as sort of the hidden sort of super token, if you will, because of the rev share. You don't have to be a genius to think about multiple domains, art and music and movies and all that, and think about how large that market is. And it is completely greenfield right now. These domains are barely represented on Web3, and they dominate our lives. Like, we watch TV, we listen to music, we watch movies all the time, and they are barely represented in Web3. The economics of how these industries work right now are fundamentally broken. We know that. You can ask any music artist and they will tell you it's broken. You can ask any actor and they can tell you it's broken. We have the fix, and we are going to implement it. It's going to take some time, gradually implement it, but the fix is in, and we will dominate those domains. All right, let's go on. All right, a financial update. So we had no expenses the past week. And the reason is that we have been operating in sort of a self-imposed austerity mode and slow-paying personnel. So everyone's been working without pay through the holidays. And we have not paid non-critical invoices, just the really important ones. So today, I will submit to the Senate to pay off some of the liabilities that we've incorporated. So you'll see that transaction. But I'm very thankful to the team. They worked, as I said, without pay through the holidays, and I see a lot of comments, and it's about people, shouldn't be paid, etc. I think that's ridiculous. People are working really, really hard, and they have to earn a living. They're getting results, and they have to earn a living. And so we'll make sure we pay them. So that's going to happen today. All right. Now, I want to switch a little bit to artists, but before that, I see a few questions, Zach. So let's bring those up and go through those a little bit before we switch on. Can you explain the 2,000 VTRU for validators? Do they receive this right away when VTRO sex listing occurs, or does it happen at a later day? All right. So there's, I believe, if my memory is right, it's 2671, and they're already done. It's already allocated to every validator. So if you had one validator, you had, 26 whatever, or was it 2371? Someone will correct me. But if you had multiple ones, then you had a multiple on there. So those are already available and visible to you in Swapper. So there's no more activity required or action required on that front. Okay, let's see. FX Mode asks, can we control whether artwork would be streamed, and can we have different rates for different users, like a museum or lobby are different? Yeah, so good question. So I'm going to talk about licensing quite a bit in this session here, but let me just give you an answer in a couple of sentences here. We've created a model where there are different license types. We're going to start off with a very generic stream type license that is a catch-all. The reason for that is because you never sort of want to get too specific and then try and go broader. You want to do that in some domains, but when it comes to licensing, what we want to do is experiment and say that, okay, what's the broadest thing you can do with streaming? Start there, see how the business model evolves, because we have to come up with a subscriber model, a payment model, a curation model, a fee model for that, etc. So we're going to start off with a catch-all stream type license, and then based on our learnings, we will introduce more license type around that, which give you granular control. But initially, just think of it like it's like basically a sledgehammer approach, if you will. Like, let's try and capture as much as we can, and then we can get fine control as we move forward. I see a question here. Let me just address this one. So Vijay says, Lightnode or backers coins are still not showing on Swapper. Any word about that, please? Yeah, so those coins were already updated and in the spreadsheet and have been for months now. So again, no action required. So if there's a specific problem with your account, happy to explore it with a support ticket. All right, let me continue now and go on to the rest of the show, where I want to talk a little bit about to our artist friends who are also listening. So yesterday, day before yesterday, actually, I did a poll. It was a poll about income for artists. And I asked the question, as an artist, which income model do you prefer? Choose based on the one-time versus recurring income model, and not the amount. So the amounts here are not important. But the choices are one time in 12 months. So you get paid a lump sum. So that reflects the NFT model we have today, right? You might sell one or two NFTs at a large amount, and that's it. You don't get sales for many months after that. Right? So there's like a lump sum kind of thing. And then the other one, the second option is you get paid a steady amount for monthly, right? For 12 months. So that's more like a standard salary kind of model, recurring income. And the third one is anything is better than zero. That's a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing about the fact that most artists, are unable to make an income in the current Web3 situation. So as you can see, 520 people voted there, and a majority of them chose the middle option. They want a steady state income. Well, guess what? Our mission for Vitruveo is to make it possible for creators all over the world, no matter where they are in their careers, to make a sustainable income through their art. That's our mission. And we have created a model where the incentives for crypto investors and the incentives for artists align. And this is why Vitruveo is going to be successful in achieving its goal. So it's great that artists feel this way about it, because that's what our thesis has been. And I have been on so many spaces basically telling people that the current model of NFTs is fundamentally broken. It is NFT 1.0 has had almost zero thought put into it from an artist perspective. It's a generic catch-all NFT, right? And it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. And artists today are using that model with marketplaces because they have no other choice in Web3. Well, Vitruveo is going to be that choice. We have looked at all the problems with NFTs in the space today and said, what is broken? Let's solve it from an artist's vantage point. So put the creator first and solve it. And that's where we have come up with the model we have right now and all the innovation that we are baking into the protocol. So one of the most significant innovations we have is on-chain license types. I was actually talking to Jamelia, our general counsel, when I was in Dubai visiting, and she actually we talked about license tokenization a bit, and she said that I don't think you realize, Nik, but no one else in the world to date has tokenized licenses. So this is something really, really important, folks. It has not been done. And the reason you saw Ultra Contract in the white paper is because all of this together is creating something that is a force to reckon with when it comes to intellectual property rights in Web3 and how we express them, how we enforce them, and how we monetize them. So all of this is coming together. Now, for Vitruveo, with artists, what we are going to do is start off with 4 license types. We have NFT, stream, print, and stock. Let's look at how all of these fit kind of into the big picture. So NFT is what we have right now. You license your artwork to a buyer using fixed, open, or what's called elastic editions. Elastic edition is also something new and innovative that we are doing, where right now an artist, when they go and list their artwork, they struggle. Do I do 1 of 1 or 1 of 10 or 15 or whatever it is? And more artists have been going with the 1 of whatever approach, because at the lower price point, they're able to at least get some sales instead of waiting for one of their artworks to be sold. And we thought about this and said, well, why should you have to make that choice as an artist? Let the market decide for you. And so with elastic editions, what we do is we let the artist basically always say, well, I have my artwork here available as 1 of 10 for $20 each. 20 multiplied by 10 is $200. So that's what they expect to make for that artwork. And now what happens is when the buyer comes along, they look at it and go, oh, I love this artwork. I want to basically buy it and only have 1 of 1. With elastic edition, they pay $200 and they get a 1 of 1, even though the artist has stipulated that it's 1 of 10. Now, what if there's 1 sold? So there's now 9 left. Well, and a buyer can come along and say the same thing. I like this. I'm going to pay $180 and buy the rest. And now that artwork becomes a one of two. It becomes unique and constrained. And so this allows the market to make the decision, which I think is going to be very, very exciting for artists because they struggle a lot. All right. The next one is stream license. And this is the one that I am particularly excited about because I think that streaming is the way to go when it comes to art. I think it is unnecessary for artists to be thinking so much about limiting the spread of their artwork via a token asset. And in fact, one of the things that the industry has not done a good job of right now is explaining to artists what it means to tokenize their artwork. Many artists think that when they tokenize their artwork, they give up rights. In fact, they don't. The artist retains copyright and is free to do things with their artwork, even though they have minted it as an NFT. They can't continue to mint it as an NFT to different people, unless it's an edition, of course, the same thing. But they can certainly use that artwork for different purposes. So stream is one of them. The ability to have your artwork appear transiently on screens, just like mine here, in hotels, in airports, in people's living rooms, in offices, train stations, all of that, and the ability for you to passively make recurring revenue from one artwork for the rest of your life, that's very powerful. So you don't have to create a lot of artworks. You have to create a few really good ones. Curators will include that in streams, and there you go. You have a passive revenue stream. Now, having said that, it is a global market. It is hyper competitive. There's always new, exciting, and fresh artworks coming out. So if you have an amazing, amazing artwork, then that's great. You can, live off that one. But the reality is that you will need to produce sort of regularly, maybe every quarter or something like that. I definitely don't imagine artists creating artworks daily or weekly or even monthly. Like if you do something every couple of months or something like that, then you've got enough of a sort of catalog built up where multiple curators might use your artworks in multiple streams, and so you have income coming in. So that's stream. The next thing is print. So print is a big deal because we are fast approaching the time where the technology to create personalized retail goods on demand is becoming real. So far, we all know we can go and get your t-shirts done in a couple of hours or a hat or something like that. But I'm talking about print on other things at scale using things like UV printers that can print on any surface like that very, very fast, And so the ability for an artist to enable their artwork for print on demand means that if someone just loves your artwork and wants it on a t-shirt, they can click and get a license for that, a tokenized license for that. But if some manufacturer of a product sees it and says, "Ooh, I want to create a range of umbrellas with this artwork," they can choose that license and bulk generate their umbrellas or whatever it is, and you get paid for it. So you don't need to find the buyer. What we do is we make it possible through our software to have other people find the buyers for you, and they get a commission for it. And so that's why they do it. Now, that commission doesn't impact your sales number because you get paid whatever you ask for. The commissions, etc., are on top of it, paid by the buyer. And finally, the last and most interesting thing, and I want to thank Mike Purdy for opening my eyes to it. So stock photography, stock art, etc., is big business. You have Getty Images, iStock Photo, and a lot of others like that, where there are publishers with massive catalogs, that list them on there. A lot of these services give no negotiating points for the creators. They basically says, take it or leave it is the price. Now, what we have the ability to do with our license types is allow artists to specify their pricing, both for individual items and for bulk items. And that, my friends, is how you scale an ecosystem, is by getting catalogs from publishers in the thousands to list on here. We get the first one there, and we think about right now, we're thinking about, will a rebase happen, etc. Honestly, in my mind, I don't even think about that because I think it's a virtual guarantee that we will blow past all the goals every single day in just a matter of a few months as we get some of these larger creator catalogs onboarded on here. So these are the different license types. Now, I don't read a lot of books, etc., but I do read a lot of sort of business blogs and all of that. And a lot of you have probably heard of Gartner. Now, Gartner produces a lot of sort of analysis papers, etc., on business. And one of their most famous things is the Gartner quadrant. It's a simple square, and it helps you put into perspective where a business lies in relation to the whole industry it's in. So what I've done here is I've kind of repurposed the Gartner quadrant to help people understand monetization when it exists today in the world of NFTs and where we are going with it. So on the y-axis, we have need to tokenize. Like, what is the need to tokenize? How deep or how broad is that need? And then on the x-axis, we have ease of monetization. So something should be easy to monetize. It shouldn't require a lot of work on your part. So here I've taken up 4 license types and put them into perspective to help you understand better what's going on. So the higher up you go on the y-axis, the less scalable you are, because you basically need to create tokens for the ability to monetize. But if you reduce the need to tokenize, keep it on chain, but can make more money, that's much better. So if you look, print is kind of towards the lower on the monetization and lower on the tokenization, because it's harder to find print applications today. It's an emergent industry for personalized print goods. But maybe we look at this picture again in 2 years, and print has moved further to the right. But right now it's there. Stock, it's harder to monetize because the quality of your work has to be astounding. And it's only going to be like the upper echelon, like maybe the 2 to 4% of artists who are able to monetize their work for stock, because it really, really, really has to be high caliber. It's a hyper competitive market there. And so I put stock kind of in the middle there, but stream there. So we have, all of us as humans, an infinite amount of tastes. You might like some kind of picture, which I might not care about at all, and I might like a different kind, right? So because of that variety, there is an audience for almost every kind of artwork that exists out there, and that audience is distributed by culture, by geography, and things like that, by age, etc. And so with streaming and the ability for curators to package beautiful sets of artworks, just like on Spotify, right? Like on Spotify, most of us go and grab a playlist someone else created. That someone cared a lot about the music, and they put together a nice playlist for us. Curators are going to do the exact same thing on Vitruveo, and guess what? They're going to get paid for it. They're going to get paid for it, and so they'll be incentivized to create amazing playlists of artworks for different scenarios, for different use cases. Maybe it's your birthday. Well, you want to have a set of artworks showing that day. I can tell you this, the current series of artworks that exist, the solutions, like I have a Samsung frame, they have the most boring artwork ever. And also, I'm stuck with seeing the same thing again and again. I don't want to keep going and changing and messing with the remote. First of all, the UI is garbage. So I hate doing that. I want automatically for those artworks to stream and be updated and changing and fresh all the time. That is what we are going to do. And that is why people are going to subscribe to these playlists in very large numbers. So anyway, here's some context for you about monetization. It's important to think. Now, what about this massive gap that is there in the middle? Well, that is opportunity. So we've only got 4 license types here today. And guess what? There was a question earlier about a specific type of stream, etc. We're going to do that. And that's where we are going to have more of that gap filled out with very different use cases, etc. And remember, we're just talking artworks right now. We add music, we add movies, etc. And this monetization square is going to get very, very interesting very quickly. So, and I'll keep coming back to it. All right, so that's monetization. Let's move on now. Let's see what I have here. I forgot what slide I put here. All right, yeah, cool. So, I talked about VTRU Studio Alpha a little bit, and what I thought it would be great is, the software is coming next week. I've seen it. It's amazing. It really works well. But I wanted to show you sort of the wireframes that artists are going to use for VTRU Studio Alpha. So they're going to consign their artwork. This is a departure from what everyone in the world of art and Web3 knows right now. Everyone knows that you go to a marketplace and mint. And we said that is completely wrong. Let's throw that out the window. Instead, everyone is going to consign their artwork to the blockchain, and every marketplace that wants to use that artwork just goes to the asset registry that's on the blockchain. So consign your artwork once and make it available in thousands of stores, thousands of places, whatever you want. You don't have to keep going and listing it again and again and again. That's the NFT 1.0 way. That's old school. We are NFT 2.0. This is the new way. All right. So here we go. They start with dropping a media item. And then one of the first things we're going to do is obsess with standards. I've told you again and again on these pitches that we are the standards blockchain. Everything we do is about taking industry standards and putting them into play and making sure that through standards, we can increase adoption. So we want these artworks to look glorious on 16:9 aspect ratio screens, 4K, etc. We want them to look great when they are printed. So what we do is we specify size constraints and make it so people have to optimize their artwork for different things. Now, we don't want to take away from people's creativity, so they can keep whatever size they want. But in addition, we ask them to crop or resize in order to meet the needs of the customers, because people who are paying to stream, they should not see black bars. That's not fun. You can see black bars right there right now. It doesn't look good, right? It would be great to have the whole image across there. So that's the first thing we do. Then what we do is we give them a UI where they can upload different things, and it's very simple, very easy to understand. And as I mentioned, it's going to be in 4 languages. So you don't have to know English. Over time, we'll put it in many more languages. But one of the things that many marketplaces and sites do right now, which artists absolutely loathe, they do not like it one bit, is they will auto crop it for you. Well, guess what happens? You've seen that, right? In your Apple Photos or Google Photos or whatever. It's cropped, head chopped off, important part of the photo chopped off. You can't do that to artworks. That is terrible. So what we do is we tell the artist, you're in full control. Here's the sizes we need. Crop however you want and give it to us. We are not going to auto crop anything for you because we just don't know what damage we'll do to the artwork. So that's important. So they go through this process, and we make sure that they provide things according to the rules. And some artists have the wherewithal and the knowledge to be able to crop offline, with Photoshop or whatever. But if you don't, we provide a nice cropping tool for you. So it's very, very easy for you without losing fidelity. We'll crop and create that resize thing for you. And then, you have your different sizes done, and you consign your artwork. So that's basically a look at the consignment workflow of VTRU Studio. So our goal there is to have the artist update this. Next week, I'll show you the metadata part, which is really, really cool, because metadata is what will allow us to create what's called faceted search. So if you've been to like Zillow or a hotel website or an airport website, you've seen faceted search in action. You've got that column on the left with all kinds of selectors and sliders and all that to granularly narrow down your options. Well, we're going to have a blockchain with one asset registry with potentially millions of artworks. You could do a keyword search, but that would be terrible. What you want to do is do more granular search, where you can say that, okay, I'm looking for portrait images created by artists, in this genre. Like maybe you want, hand painted, or you want AI or whatever. You can select those things. And because we have all these metadata fields, you can choose a subset. And from that subset, you can do a keyword search. And that makes it a much more exciting and interesting and actually relevant user experience. So that's kind of what we are we are working on. You will see this in action next week. We will start onboarding artists. It's really the team has worked very hard to make this an enterprise-grade product right from the beginning. So we got a $100,000 credit from AWS, and we've used that pretty wisely. So we have created a microservices architecture, which is pretty scalable. And we also put the applications and the images on edge nodes around the world so that it's super fast. When you stream things, etc., we don't want any latency there. So these are things I'm talking about that probably no one cares about. But I guarantee you, if you are paying to stream something and you see nothing for a while, like sometimes shows up there, that's not a good experience. We don't want that. We want caching, etc., and we want servers to be as close to your computer as possible, so that, or your device, rather. So streaming is beautiful and seamless and fast. So all that architecture has already been done and implemented. And the VTRU Stream product, we are starting to work with a partner on kind of getting that into a frame. And honestly, Zach and I were talking, and we've already started to think about having our own branded OTT device. OTT is over the top. It's like, so, Apple TV, Roku, etc. Those are OTT devices. And I very much feel like we can create a device like DAC etc. that is a simple HDMI network-enabled device, which costs you nothing, but comes bundled as part of a subscription. So as long as you're subscribed, that device can be plugged into any TV, and with a simple HDMI cable, and you've got streaming artwork. So we are excited about that. So we will check that out. We are not 100% certain we want to go there yet, because it's a distraction of focus. But it's something we might consider doing, maybe with a partner even. So yeah, so those are all the exciting things we have going on right now. This coming week and the coming month is a pivotal one for us as Vitruveo becomes more mainstream. I'm certainly excited about it. And I am very grateful and thankful for the community for stepping up in large numbers to show us their support. I'm particularly excited about the group of artists that are now coming on board, beyond just the Genesis ones. You're going to, for example, there are the Nifty Dreams artists who have passes. They're going to get Dreamer core NFTs airdrop to them here, and they will become part of the fold here. One of the things as a result of going into the detail on these NFTs, etc., is I am going to submit a proposal for a small change in the sort of governance charter around the numbers around governance and voting, because we have different sort of audiences on there. So we have the existing investors, etc., but we also have artists, and we want to make sure that they have a say in the future of the blockchain for creators. So I'm going to submit that proposal, and we also have to take a community vote on the empty Senate seat. So we'll be doing that also in the coming weeks. So anyway, that's all I got. Zach, come on board here and let's talk a bit more.
What's up? Yeah, as we answer those questions as we go, we have a lot less at the end. So if you have any questions, feel free. But I do have a couple more starred for you. And
all right, let's go for it.
So
I love questions.
I think this one's really interesting from Biz. How will buyers use credit cards, then choose to sell? How will they off-ramp? Back to the purchase of credit cards, Google Pay, Apple. So is there a Vitruveo credit card in the works? No.
But I'm interested in knowing what they will sell, though. Are you thinking that they buy an artwork and then they sell it?
How will buyers use credit cards? So that's the whole implementation of the 4337 and the Paymaster mechanism, which will allow us.
Yeah. I mean, it's the other way, right? He's talking about the reverse flow. Is say you bought an NFT. I get it now, I think, and you use a credit card to buy it. You don't even know, anything about NFTs or whatever. You just have a custodial wallet and you have this artwork, and then you discover marketplaces, and you're like, okay, I want to sell this now and make a profit potentially. So you do that, and now you have some capital. How are you going to get it back into fiat? So The traditional fiat off-ramp is an exchange, centralized exchange. So the only thing I can think of that, which again I'll have to check on regulations and things like that, would be the potential to put it as a gift card, as credits, really in our ecosystem. Because I don't think we want to get into the business of being a fiat off ramp. That's not our business. That's an exchange that does that. So it's a good question. I do not have a clear answer for you on this biz, but it's certainly something to think about. Although, I'll tell you this: there are use cases that come up, and we immediately gravitate towards, oh, this is a problem, I need to solve it. What I'd like to do first is measure what is the size of the population that will want this solution, and if it's worth us investing time, effort, resources on creating a solution, when potentially that might not be a big enough sort of audience for it. So I usually know that you want to implement a feature when there's enough people complaining about it. Like you got a lot of trouble tickets or something, people complaining about something, you want to implement that feature. So maybe that's something that we wait and see, how many people want that. And then if there are, then we look for a solution.
With Scope, not Scape, the after Swapper solution, we can apply our boosters to our wallets.
Yes, it won't be available on the 9th, but we are trying to get it to you in the next 3 or 4 days after that, very quickly after that.
A few people have asked this: when are booster sales ending? And we knew this was going to come up.
Yeah, this is a challenging question, and the reason it's challenging is because, look, I've maintained very consistently that the point of boosters is to have a runway, like an operating capital runway. So we are at the point right now where that runway is gradually extending, but it's not at the safety point yet. At least I don't feel comfortable. I'll tell you, as a CEO, one of the main things you worry about is cash flow, right? Like you want to stay in business and you want to make sure you're strong and can have a future. And you don't want to be constantly worrying about, well, can we get through this month, etc., because then you're not focused. And that's actually how I am right now. I'm not completely focused because I'm busy thinking about cash flow all the time. And so we'll keep that open for a bit. But as we're getting close to the point where we are getting ready to list on an exchange. So we will do that listing, and that ends the booster sales, because there's not going to be any more sales once we are listed on an exchange. So I would say, let's just say that you're good for at least another week or so, and we'll talk about it next Friday then.
Wink, wink. Next one is: the Studio Alpha looks like it only supports 2D artworks. What about other forms like 3D and FDX, OBJ, or data mocaps to record dance videos? Will that be included in the future?
Yeah. Look, when you have an alpha, you're trying to do the bare bones in order to get enough of the product built so that you can demonstrate end-to-end functionality. So then you get into more details, into more complex use cases, which we will certainly do.
Nik, how do creators in the ecosystem use the money they earn to pay for daily things in their life? Won't they have to have an off-ramp somehow?
Yeah, this is a good question. So, we are starting off with crypto-aware artists, etc. Most of them, at least the initial surge of the few thousand, will be that. But this ties back to what Biz asked, right? Like we need an off-ramp. So it's not our place to be that off-ramp, but there are enough companies out there that are off-ramps. So we'll figure out a way to make it really seamless for creators to be able to do that, where someone had proposed, I saw in the comment there, a debit card or things like that. So there are companies that do that. But one of the challenges with all those services is that they charge an arm and a leg. Like, so, they charge a significant percentage of the principal in order to execute on that. So we have to figure out a smarter way. I believe that Stripe has some solutions where you use ACH, which is the banking ones, which are very cheap, versus credit card approaches, which are much more expensive. So those take 2 to 3 days but they are free usually. So we'll pursue that. But it's a really great question, and we definitely need to put some thought into it. But I'm hoping that it will be solved by partners, and we don't have to actually do a whole lot there.
I don't know how much you want to go into this, but can you give us a little bit more on VCs? Mainly, how close we are to money in the bank with these VCs, and tentatively, how close are we to that 5-ish million goal?
I'll just take you back to the timeline there. The timeline tells you where we are on those things. So it's not prudent for me to comment here on exactly where we are and who we are talking with and what dates there are. But you can see the timeline. I'll bring it up again here as a reference, and the timeline should easily tell you, where we are headed there. So we intend to not have this fundraise go on any longer than necessary, and you can see the VTRU bar there. We
can't go forward without it. So
yeah.
So that you can read between the lines the best you can, Nathan. Can you pick up that Swapper UI again? Swapper2?
Yeah. Trafalgar, you're very, you have a keen eye. That was a UI faux pas that I had made and I fixed that. So it has since been fixed, where it's clear that the 20% you're choosing is the 20% of VTRU you want to swap, because the way I showed it in the UI was inverted, and it's cool that you caught it. I appreciate that. You have a keen eye, but it's been fixed.
Let's see. Yep. CryptoPride Spritz off ramp. Yeah, I think Biz actually introduced us to Spritz as an off ramp, not a while back. And maybe we'll recircle and talk to them soon.
Yeah, the thing with a lot of these partnerships is there's so many of them, and people have referred it, is mentally I have to be in the place where we are ready for such a service, right? Because if I'm talking prematurely with someone, I don't have any context, I don't have any details, etc. So we'll get to the point where we are solving certain domain problems, and then we are like, okay, who do we know that has contacts in this, etc. Then we'll reach out and start building up upon there. But one of the problems I find when I speak prematurely to a partner is you get their interest, you get them all excited, but you're like, well, we won't be needing this until like 5 months from now or whatever, and then it's not fun. So yeah.
Let's see.
So I think we are out of questions here. I guess wrap up by saying that I'm going to be in your neck of the woods in Michigan soon. I'm excited about that. And maybe we can, I don't know if it's going to be on a Friday, but maybe we can do some live stream or something from there,
live from Western Michigan Broncos campus.
Yeah. So I don't want the cold. Can you make the cold go away when I come there, please?
Can you bring the warm with you?
Yeah. It's been raining here, actually.
It'll be the Tuesday, not next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday is the date, correct? Or
I'll let you know once we are there.
Yeah. So it's something like that. Yeah. I mean, whatever. Well, we could do an impromptu live stream together.
Yep.
And get out in front of the peoples. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't been to that side of town in a while, or at the state in a while, and yeah, it'll be fun. You have to show me where your dorm was and what fraternity you rushed. No.
Yeah, I'm excited to go back on campus. I love young minds and inspiring, to whatever extent I can. It's definitely fun.
Also,
all right.
Wrong one. This one. I am going to be live streaming with CryptoPride on next Thursday at 3:30 p.m.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I took a look at CryptoPride's content. He's a huge supporter of us. I know he'll be gunning for a Senate seat. Yeah, come check us out. Come ask your questions. I'm looking forward to it. He's a big supporter of us. I love the content. So
Great.
it'll be fun.
All right. I think it's a wrap. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. Well, everyone, enjoy your weekend. Again, Happy New Year. Exciting times ahead. We are going full bore on all fronts here. Things are falling into place nicely. Teams working hard. I thank you for your support. And I'm really, really excited about the prospects of the future for Vitruveo. And I also want to say thank you to all the artists who are learning a little bit about Vitruveo and now showing their support for it. I realize you haven't had a chance yet to actually work with software, etc. But I do want to make sure that you understand that this is a blockchain for creators. It's there for you, and we welcome you to this community. We welcome you to help us shape the future of art in the world and to make a difference. I always say, we are in a very polarized world, as evident from social media, Discord, etc. People get upset about very small things, and art is the antidote. Art can make a kinder, gentler, more loving, and peaceful world, and I look forward to that. So thanks all. Have a great weekend, and I'll catch you on online. See ya. Bye bye.
See ya.